Greetings, members of the fourth estate. As we are aware, on the 7th of November 2023, with Gazette notice dated the 6th of November 2023, the Ministry of Interior issued directives on the review of charges for several documentations, including passports, birth certificates, marriage certificates, and other very essential documents that Kenyans require for their peaceful coexistence within the Republic of the country. Aggrieved by this decision by the Ministry of Interior, one activist, Frederick Bikeri, approached our firm and sought our legal representation in bringing a petition before the Honorable Court challenging the said Gazette notice. We filed our petition pursuant to the said authority from him, and subsequently we were given directions that the same be mentioned together with another petition that had been filed, and the same will come on 29th of November 2023. Some of the grounds for this petition are that the said Gazette notice is unprocedural, irregular, and the same ought to be quashed, and to avoid punishing Kenyans, the said Gazette notice imposes charges that are very draconian and expensive for many of the Kenyans to afford, and this will increase the social inequalities in the Republic of Kenya, and will also mean that the marginalized communities will not be able to afford such government documents. Additionally, the said Gazette notice did not adhere to the requirements of the law. The law provides that for any decision that ought to be made that will affect people, the said people ought to be considered and their views considered when coming up with their final decision. In the said Gazette notice, they did not consider any public participation whatsoever, and as such, that is why we are challenging on the basis of its irregularity and unlawfulness that it's based on. And with that regard, we will appear before Honorable Justice Mugambi on the 29th of November 2023 for further directions, but we are glad that in the meantime the said Gazette notice is not in operation, pending further directions from the said judge.
Hustlers spoke loudly in September last year, and the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, was sworn in with the promise that the hustlers, the cost of living, the cost of government services is going to be reduced tremendously. Last week, the CS for Interior, equally the CS for Lands, issued Gazette notices to the effect that the cost of government services was increased tremendously. A hustler by the name Fred Bikeri walked to us and said, "This is not what we voted for the Kenya Kwanza government for." Of particular are 7 issues that he instructed us to raise. 1, the criminalization of marriage. Article 45 of the Constitution provides for the right to have a family. Government now has decided to make it too expensive for people to marry. Where will the hustlers who earn peanuts get the money to get a marriage certificate? Where do the hustlers who cannot be accepted after seduction in Kenya here, they can only be accepted by women from Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia? It is double expensive. Mambo ya roho. Government now has entered there. Number 2, the question of the ID card moving from 100 shillings to over 2,000 shillings. Every year, more than 2,000 Form 4 leavers leave school and they get IDs. So we are talking of more than 2 million Kenyans every year will not afford to have an ID, and in essence, by 2027, more than 10 million voters will not have registered the right to vote. It is the only document that one person, every Kenyan uses to vote. Will Kenyans afford this? The third issue is the issue of passports. There are no jobs here. The government has said it has no jobs. Kenyans get passport, go out of the country. They have made the cost of a passport beyond reach of a citizen. We have very many issues within that petition. Mothers who are Kenyans who give birth outside this country, bringing that kid to this country, which below where the kid is a citizen, is going to be very expensive. How will those kids who are Kenyans born outside the Republic of Kenya, is it now that we are saying, let us chase them away from coming into the country? That is a very, very critical issue that the state needs to look at. In sum total, Article 10 of the Constitution demands for public participation. Article 10 of the Constitution demands for transparency. Article 10 of the Constitution demands involvement of the public. Article 1 of the Constitution, which gives Bikeri the power, says we the people must be consulted. The government never consulted we the people. So we the people have come to court to seek redress. Under Article 47 of the Constitution, which talks of fair administrative action, the cabinet secretaries have failed the test of a fair administrative action because that action is completely irrational. That action of extending taxation beyond reach of the ordinary citizens is a question that Kenyans want to know. We will not relent by sideshows of planting trees. We will demand affordable services by government. A fundamental question that we have raised in that petition is that raising the amount you charge government services is an aspect of taxation. What profit do people who are marrying each other make so that government taxes them? What profit does a mother and a father who have a child, what profit do they make for government to raise the cost of a birth certificate so that they are making any profit? So let government focus on taxation on businesses, but on government services, Huduma services, the Hansard record says Huduma was supposed to be provided for free. Now, if every Huduma service is being put beyond reach, we will not agree. Finally, our application, which was filed on Friday, because of the long days, the judge has directed that there is another matter similar to our petition, which the judge ordered and suspended the Gazette notice. Most likely, by the 29th, we might find more than 1 million applications being filed in court to challenge those Gazette notices. So the judge has said those orders that were issued apply to our petition. We appear before the court on the 29th, so that we urge to every Kenyan to be alert on the 29th, so that we prosecute this matter on behalf of the Kenyan people, who are the greatest
patriots of this nation. We will not defend what is undefendable. We will defend what is defendable. This is absolute robbery without violence from the citizens of this country. So